awesome. BlizzCon.
It's BlizzCon.
Yeah, BlizzCon was this weekend.
I did hear some stuff. I guess there's a lot of shit went down.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, everything I talked about in the last podcast, there was that.
Didn't it just explode a whole much more?
There's a ton of protests.
Yeah.
And
I've seen a lot of people saying that they're gonna be they're not gonna be doing anything Blizzard. They're not getting any new games that are coming out.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's wait till the end of the episode.
Okay.
So we're gonna start.
Yes, this is AT&P, all things nerd. What's up, Nerd Kingdom?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, man.
It's early.
Yes.
I'm tired.
Of course, I'm your host, Will.
Zach.
So it's Brandon.
Jeremy.
Man, I hope you all had a wonderful 2 weeks. If you haven't listened to episode 0 yet, please check that out. We're having such a blast, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we got that Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
exactly.
check that out. Jeremy
It's not too bad.
went through and talked about the new Rise of Skywalker trailer. It's gonna be one of the biggest movies of the year.
Dude,
so.
I am so excited for it, dude.
Already got tickets? You guys got tickets?
Do you really?
See,
Yeah, I got my tickets already, man.
the queue opened up
Call me a
last
Star Wars
Monday or
fan.
something.
Yeah.
But I'm still on the fence about if I want to see it.
What?
No, you're gonna see it.
I mean, I'm gonna see it, but I'm on the fence about
Brandon.
when I want to see it.
Oh, okay.
Because no. And let's the original trilogy of Star Wars. Fantastic. Can't be any better. Can't be any worse. Gold standard for that kind of movie.
Agreed.
Then you got the prequels, which not that great compared to the original, but they're their own story that they stand by themselves. And then you got these ones where the first two, yeah, they have new characters and the plot points aren't exactly the same. But I feel like there's just way too many similarities to where they're just trying to rehash the original one. And that's
Yeah.
what bugs me. And I just don't
God.
I don't like the way it was done. So don't get me wrong, you got Rogue One in there, which is amazing. So it saves the whole new Star Wars movie franchise for me.
Thank you for throwing out my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Rogue One's your favorite?
Oh, that's my favorite.
It's one of my favorites.
so good.
I love it.
The last 15 to 20 seconds
Yes,
of it is
yes.
literally why didn't we get this
Yeah,
at the end
exactly.
of episode 3
Yeah.
after he became Vader
Yeah.
please just slaughter people.
Right.
Oh, dude, that scene though when they showed him in the hallway and he ignited his lightsaber.
Oh
Oh, that was so good.
yeah,
It was awesome.
it's the best, one of the best Star Wars
Literally,
moments.
it was
Who's
great.
him?
Excuse me?
Him?
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader?
Who are you?
Okay.
Have you not seen Rogue One?
Oh, I have. I just,
Oh.
I just watch the movies. I'm not
It's not a
all into it.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
You know,
So we have a wannabe Star Wars fan.
Yeah, here we go.
I want to be fanboy.
See, honestly though, with the new movie, the thing that's got me still interested, where I'm I need to see it and see what happens, is the whole laugh where it sounds like Palpatine.
Yeah. I think honestly that's what's going to make this movie the best is because it's bringing back. Yeah, who knows? I don't know if Palpatine's really going to be in the flesh or real. I mean, they're making it look like it on the trailers, but I still don't want to believe anything. All I can do is theorize and think. I can't actually assume anything is real until I see the movie.
Yeah. Plus, you got to think too is they built up Snoke so much in
Yeah.
the first two, and then he's dead.
Well, J.J. Abrams is known for hyping people up and then changing it completely.
That's part of the reason I don't like anything
Like
he's
he,
done.
Yeah,
Like
any
he's-
Fringe fans out there?
Yeah.
The whole TV show is that way. It's oh, look at this character. Oh,
Yeah.
they're really cool.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
we're never going to talk about him again.
It's he tried to pull the Game of Thrones concept out. Hey, this is a great character, Ned Stark. He's awesome.
yeah. Just kidding.
You got the
that's
Martin
almost
treatment.
Spoiler,
That's almost
if you haven't
exactly
watched
the
Game of
formula
Thrones.
he tried to pull with this, but Snoke was supposed to be so amazing,
Yeah.
and then it
was-
took nothing to get rid of him.
He was great, but for what he was, I was pretty disappointed
Yeah.
though. It was just, I mean, it is what it is. But hopefully, episode 9 ties it all back in and shows maybe he was just a pawn. Maybe he really wasn't as important as everybody
Yeah.
was thinking.
That's
so.
true. So that's the thing that's holding me on.
Well, with that, definitely.
Star Wars rant over.
Yeah, Star Wars ran over, but we have a little bit of more of a sprinkle that Jeremy's going to do here shortly with the Mandalorian trailer that's coming to Disney Plus,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Drops at 12. First episode's at 12, right?
Yes.
sweet.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely. Jeremy will be bringing you some info, maybe some theories, maybe his opinion. So definitely check that out here within the near future. Now, getting back into the beginning here, we want to do a segment that we all thought was a great idea, and we wanted to bring people from our social media, give them a little bit of a shout out, be a little bit more appreciative of, you guys. We've already expressed ourselves in episode 0. We definitely want to give those people, some credit and, keep doing what you're doing, keep sharing, keep spreading the news about ATNP. We love it. We love to hear your guys' comments. I mean, I don't know how many different messages we've gotten within the past week or so about everybody talking about, ATNP, good, bad, criticism. I love it. We all love it.
Yeah, keep that coming because we're starting out. So we need all the criticism, good or bad, we can get.
Right. Anything you guys can say, any criticism that I've gotten from people that have listened that I'm friends with, family members, etc. It's all been constructive, and I hope that you guys see over the next couple episodes, we're definitely taking it to heart. We're definitely trying to change some things, make things a little bit better, make things a little more fluent. Just keep your, ears open and just keep listening.
Yeah, I definitely think all of us have listened to our own episodes. I don't know how many times, and critiquing ourselves. So we're definitely doing the best we can, and we're going to keep trying to bring in the best content we possibly can and perform as well as we possibly can. So we want to do the best that we can and give it to you guys. So
Yes, and speaking of, our support and your support with this podcast, I mean, I'm sure sooner or later we'll be throwing in, maybe a Patreon page. We haven't really thought of some ideas yet. I really know that they are expressing me going to a haunted house, which
yes,
I'm
please.
literally...
We'll put that up on our YouTube channel as well, because we are going to
yeah.
definitely
I'm
be front row
recording
for that.
Yeah.
So just so y'all know, Will hates anything
Scary.
haunted. Movies,
Yeah.
TV shows,
Yeah.
houses.
I know this sounds super crazy, but I mean, I know you guys don't watch Ellen.
She's funny.
But average Andy, have you ever seen the videos where he goes to the haunted houses? And yeah, dude,
No.
I've never heard of him.
Check him out on YouTube if you haven't seen him. This dude, he may be worse than I am. I don't know yet. You guys will see. We can compare and contrast. But dude, he jumps at every little thing, man. It's hilarious. But yeah, that will be me, definitely, 100%. But yeah, I think we're just going to go around, maybe give each other some shout outs that we saw through our Facebook page, Nerd Kingdom. And if you haven't followed or joined, please join. I mean, it's public to everybody. And if you have joined, please share. I mean, it's grown to what? We're almost at 200 now.
I think 140 something, 150 almost.
Okay. I mean, we haven't even really been out for more than
No.
4 or 5 weeks. So I think we definitely are going to have a prize or a contest coming up soon. We'll, I
Still
think,
got to decide on a number, I think, is kind of what's holding us back for
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So
But
what
there
we
will
think
be
is
something.
200, 250.
Something like that, yeah.
Something in that range, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, just keep a lookout on that, and constantly comment, share, post, any news or updates, and we'll, you've seen all of us comment and have our own opinion about things. So, but definitely getting back into things. We want to give a couple names out. I think my first one that I want to throw out is my wonderful friend Shelby. I think on Facebook she's Shelby's Alexandria.
Okay.
I mean, big reason. She hasn't posted much on Nerd Kingdom, but she has definitely done the cover art for us.
Which is fantastic. I was
Awesome.
I know when she made my character, I was like blown away. It's so simple, but it's awesome. Like I wasn't expecting what I got, and I was very happy with it. So
Exactly, and I mean, most people, if you see me, you could tell you know, that's exactly who I am and what I look like, and you know, that Cthulhu monster just drinking beer. And I love it.
Sorry about the noise.
Yeah, sorry
I
if you
got a
hear any
new-
extra noise, but
I got a new puppy that's up there playing with a toy, dropping it, and plus his baby,
Yeah.
Jeremy's baby's.
we
up there
will
playing too, so.
we will eventually be in a new location once you get your own place,
Once I get my own place,
and we will be set with an actual studio type setting. So it'll be nice.
No.
But yeah, so definitely Shelby, man. I mean, like,
Oh, for sure.
dude, we appreciate you 100%. She has talked to me multiple times about, you know, she's ready to do more art for us.
Yes.
She's like, now that I've heard episode 0, she was like, now I know that what everybody likes to do. So she's like, I'm excited to keep moving forward with the art. So thank you, Shelby.
I guess I'll pick up where that left off. Another person that's been really active, that's been really nice to see, has been Kevin Robbins. So
Yeah.
Very.
we went to Gen Con together with Kevin, didn't we?
We sure did. Mhm.
And yeah, Kevin, he's a great guy. Can't speak so much about him. He taught me a lot about Keyforge.
Yeah.
I remember one night we stayed up super late. A couple of other people we went with too, Alex and Desiree.
Which is on a
They're on a podcast as well.
Yeah, they are Adventure Awaits.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard them, check them out. They're just a Pathfinder group.
Yeah, we went to Gen Con with him and Alex and Dez, and one night he stayed up super late, with me at least, and we were playing Keyforge. Him or Alex had bought a couple decks, and we cracked them open, and he sat there and, watched me thumb through it. So other than that, he's been, all over Facebook, commenting, posting. He's reshared things. I don't know if he's been on any of the social media, but he's been all over the Facebook page, so
Yeah.
love seeing it. It's great.
Yeah, he actually pointed me in the direction of some Game of Thrones audiobooks.
Oh,
So
nice.
I've been
Perfect.
trying to finish those for a couple years now, so that's going to help me get through them. So I appreciate that. I guess for me, it's two actually. It's Corey and Katie Single. They've been all over the place. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, they've posted about Harry Potter, about video games, Game of Thrones, MCU, and like me and Corey in particular, we've had several like in-depth conversations going back. The most recent talking about who we think the big bad for the MCU is going to be in the next one, or who we think it should be. Him telling me his thoughts, me giving him my thoughts, and just stuff like that. And then they've just been really active again on Facebook. And a lot of this is because we have other social media accounts, but like we know not everybody uses them. But like they've been all over the place on almost every post. I see one of their names pop up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Whether it's a
Yeah.
post, it may
Yeah.
be just a comment. Like,
Yeah,
literally,
or
it's
like
great.
they've been super active
Yeah.
all over. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, the activity's great. Just a couple I want to throw out there. We got Matt Engel, good old work friend. He's
Yeah.
been super active, and thank you, man. Jeremy Melntosh. I'm not
Macintosh.
Macintosh. Is that how you say it? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I wrote it down wrong. So, thank you, dude, so much for being so active. I do also want to give a special thanks to Cody Chamberlain for actually PMing me and about the Star Wars episodes and stuff. It's awesome. You've been super active and questioning everything, and seems super interested. So that's awesome. Thank you so much.
And I think he actually went through and added.
Yeah,
all of us.
Yeah,
All
he
of
did.
us, yeah.
And
That's
then
friends.
he's been like talking to all of us individually,
Yeah.
like about everything. So he went beyond just being a part of the Nerd Kingdom. He he kind of reached out to like be more and actually be friends, which is like one of the big things we wanted to do with this podcast.
Exactly.
Reach out, meet
Exactly.
people, and build build our community and our friends. And so that was like our first step in actually doing that. So thank you so much for being a part of helping us actually achieve a small part of our vision for this.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Keep on sharing, guys. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now, even talking about
Dude,
it.
I can see him on your
Yeah,
arm,
dude.
dude.
Literally, I swear to
It
God,
really
like,
does.
it's
Holy cow.
unreal because I'm so happy. Like this is all I've wanted for so long. I mean, Zach and I, like I said in episode 0, have tried to start this, and now like we're here, and we love everything that you guys are doing. I love everything that these guys are doing. let's keep this up. Let's bring Nerd Kingdom into a Nerdvana. Let's
Love
do
it.
Nirvana.
All right. So yeah, that's the shout outs. And now I wanted to go in with a little birthday segment.
Do it.
You know, I did say every episode will have a birthday or two. And now it's not going to be somebody we know per se, but I do have two in mind that are coming up in these next couple of weeks when you hear this. The first one, the biggest, baddest human being. I don't know. There could be a good argument between him and Arnold, but Lou Ferrigno, literally the human Hulk, literally threw a bear in one of the episodes. Happy birthday to him.
Nice.
I think it's.
Do I know how old he's gonna be?
I do not actually. We can look. Real
Keep
quick.
on going. I'll look it up.
All right. And the second guy, probably my favorite actor because he's literally he acted in one of the movies that is in one of my favorite comic books. Yes, I do like to read comic books. Is Michael J. White. I mean, dude is one bad
He's a
mofo.
bad mofo.
Literally, like.
He'll be 68 this. Lou Ferrigno will be 68 this year.
Okay,
Nice.
perfect. And if somebody wants to look up Michael J. White as well, but literally, yeah. I mean, almost knows every single mixed martial art known to man. I mean, he's literally. I mean, I consider him an A actor, but some people would see him as a B actor. But you know, dude's awesome. And then, you know, he was also in.
He will also be 68.
Oh wow! Literally the
Wow.
same age.
No, 58.
Oh, okay.
52.
Okay. All right.
Shit, no.
52. Oh my God, we're going downhill. That's good.
We'll
He's
cut
still
all
young.
that.
But yeah, I mean, literally in my favorite movie, Spawn. If you guys haven't seen Spawn, check it out. Great movie. I mean, Todd McFarlane is planning on doing a reboot soon. I may talk about that in sooner episodes to come, but literally, probably my favorite actor. He's just one bad dude. So, happy birthday to those folks.
Cool note on Michael J. He's not credited, but he is in the second TMNT movie in the scene where Raph and Kino, the teenager that he's with, is trying to get into the foot. Michael J. is a background character
Nice.
standing there in the scene.
Holy
He's uncredited,
shit.
but he's in it.
That's a fun fact right there.
Yeah.
Yes,
y'all.
it is.
One fun fact.
And he would know it.
He would. Yeah, if it
He
was.
would.
Guilty.
Yeah.
All right, and I guess out of that, we're with the birthdays and celebration going on, we do have a little segment. I guess we're going to start. We're going to celebrate everyone's birthday, and I think Brandon he picked out when we have birthdays. I don't know what everyone else does, but we like to drink. So,
Yeah.
so Brandon he did pick out some beer. He brought it for us today. So if he wants to go ahead and talk about what we got.
There's a local brewery here in Cincinnati for all you not from here called Rheingeist. It's they've got all kinds of beers. The one I picked up today is it's called Lynx. It's a IPA. Real quick, it's lithe and bright-eyed. Lynx peeks out from behind the brush to reveal furtive tufts of Citra, Cascade, Mosaic, and Amarillo. This light-bodied, balanced IPA packs the hop claws, the frisk with the big cats, but purrs pleasantly with notes of orange blossom, nectarine, and key lime. It's only sold September, October around here, but we're going to give it a try. I've never had it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I've never had it either.
I've drank it once.
I can't
So,
remember, to be honest.
So here we go. This is to Lou Ferrigno and Michael J. White. Happy birthday, fellas.
Happy birthday.
Not bad.
A lighter IPA.
Super light.
Yeah.
I like it, but it might be too fruity for me. When I drink it, I like fruity flavored beers. It's an IPA. I like a little bit more bitterness with my IPA.
Well,
if I'm gonna drink that,
and like
as
you
stupid as that sounds,
Yeah, and like you explained too, the seasonal note of like how it comes out between September and October. I did say seasonal note, didn't I?
Yeah.
It wasn't a seasonal note. But yeah, it's more like a summer fall beer.
Yeah.
It's not. We don't want to get into the heavy beer where Christmas time for those big darker beers. But yeah, it tastes real good. I
Yeah.
like it. I'm an IPA guy for
I am
sure.
too. Definitely.
Most,
I think
most of us are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
I love
for sure.
IPAs.
I mean, I'm not I like IPAs, but this is more. I don't think I would want to drink it in the fall.
Yeah.
I would rather this
Feels
be
like a spring,
summer,
summertime,
spring or
kind
summer.
of
So
beer.
you think this should be more like early April, May type of beer
I'm
to the summer?
gonna go with summer, like
I'm gonna
June,
say-
July, August.
I'm
where
gonna
it's-
say, we do live in Ohio, and August and September, while they are technically like almost fall, they're still hot. Like it's really hot in August, and I could definitely like drink this beer like when it's 90 degrees in
Yeah.
the middle of August. This is a beer that's it's kind of getting you ready for fall, but it's still keeping you in that like summer warmness. So you
Yeah.
could drink it on a hot day still.
yeah.
And I'm really more into New England IPAs, like for that summertime beer, and because it's not so heavy as like
Stouter or porter.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. When you want those on St. Patty's or like Christmas or
Give me those year round, man.
Oh,
Give me Guinness.
I don't know. I
all
could drink
year.
Oktoberfest all year round.
Sam
so-
Adams Oktoberfest.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite beers.
But
all
Well,
right,
since we're
guys.
nerding out about beer,
beer.
What-
we
what
could
else we
actually
gonna nerd out?
a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
about-
Our main topic actually of this podcast episode, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been thinking, but I sure have been thinking, what is nerd? What is nerd to you guys? What is nerd to Nerd Kingdom?
Definition: Will Buck.
Not just yet, but
No, like what's your definition of it?
I think now that, in my life, in our generation, our lifetime so far, I think nerd is more of a hobby-based term now. Because, I kid you not, I heard Ryan Seacrest and Elvis Duran in the morning on a radio show while I was working. And they were literally talking about how they're music nerds, how they've grown into being more into music, how they listened to radio hosts before them. And they said, this is what I want to do. This is what I love. And
Yeah.
I really think that's where nerd has, gone to or has come to, and that's where I am, because I feel like I'm a board game nerd. So,
Right.
I think that's where I'm at on it.
I mean, I can agree with that. For me, I think nerd goes a little bit more deeper than just your hobbies and interests, because I'm friends with a lot of different people, and I can say that I have friends that are quote unquote nerds about like sports, like football and soccer and other things. And, while they might not self-identify as like, hey, I'm a nerd about, I don't know, football, fantasy football, whatever sport it happens to be, they still are kind of nerdy about it. They know the stats, they know the numbers, they know all the formulas for all the baseball stats and everything.
Yeah.
And, for me, that's still being a nerd. You don't have to just be into Dungeons and Dragons, World of Warcraft. You could be into
The quote,
sports.
The
Nerd
quote,
stuff.
the
quote
the
nerd
stereotypical
stuff. Right,
nerd.
Nerd
right.
stuff, yeah. So I think the term, I mean, people like to say like, oh, you're a sports nut. You're really just more of a sports nerd. Like, let's be
Yeah.
Kind of the
honest.
same thing.
See,
Yeah.
like I agree with that. Like mine is and I've had this conversation before with many people. Like a few weeks back, me, Jeremy, and Will had this conversation actually. And for me, being a nerd, it's not being like the loner, the glasses with the tape. It's about being passionate about one specific thing or a few specific things, whether it's board games, comics, video games, sports. Like Jeremy's fiance, like she's all about like makeup
dude.
tutorials and
Anything-
stuff,
yeah.
and like she could tell you stuff. Like for me, I'm just like, you just take the brush and put the stuff on, right?
Yeah.
Like she could go into detail about stuff, and like she's not going to call herself a makeup nerd, but that's what she is.
Yeah.
Like
She keeps fighting us about
Yeah,
it.
she
We
just-
are
she
literally
will not-
trying
she will not
her
admit
to
that she's
join
a
the
nerd
dark
and make-
side
Yeah.
or the good side, whatever
No.
you may call
But no,
it.
that
But,
yeah, and that's my thing. Is like, it's not that you like the nerdy stuff. Like, you're not just a man child, like, which we are all for man children. Let's face it.
Right.
Guilty.
But
I
like,
already accepted
but
that.
I mean, that's what it is. Is like you were just passionate about a certain thing, and that's, to me, that's what being a nerd is having a passion about a certain topic, whether it be like you said, sports or the board games or something. Like, for me, it's definitely Ninja Turtles. Like, that's my, like, I'm very passionate in my love for Ninja Turtles because it reminds me of a simpler time when I was younger. So that's why I've held on, and now I'm like at the comics and stuff.
Right.
And like me and Jeremy did music for so long, and we still have that
So
as a
long.
huge part of our lives. So I mean, that to me is what nerd is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy even to think about those times, like going back and playing music, and before I really got into the quote nerd stuff. Like, that's what I was. I was nerd into music. That's all I did every single day. That's all I knew. And it was just, it's crazy to think, like, all these different kids and people out there, they like their thing, and not everyone recognizes it for what it is. Like, some people, I might see someone that likes, like Will, when I first met you, like, for example, like you liked the board games, you liked
Magic.
D&D, Magic. Let me just say this. When I was growing up, when I was in high school, I used to always make fun of all the kids playing Magic. And, going back on that, I honestly wish I wasn't like that, because now I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I'm a big nerd in Star Wars. Yeah, it's Star Wars, but I have my nerd things, and I like Magic now. I might not be good at it. I might not be
He's
good
definitely
at
not.
it. I'm not. But I do enjoy it. I like the concept. I think it's awesome. I would love to actually learn how to play. I just don't have the time for it. But,
That's
aside.
part of the reason I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right, exactly. That aside, I was big into Pokemon cards. I was huge into that.
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a kid from the 90s that
Yeah.
wasn't in some way, shape, or form
Right.
into Pokemon.
So it's
Yeah.
like, going back on that now, I'm just like, you know what? I shouldn't have been like that. I am them, as Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy would say, I am you. But that was me, just a different nerd type.
See, and that's the thing. Like you said, you made fun of people like that. That's how a lot of people view it as.
Right.
Like, they're into like the comics and stuff, because people that are into sports don't identify themselves as a nerd, even though that's basically what they are.
Yeah.
Like, people who are into like the comics and the board games and the card games and all that, they don't express that, and when they start separating themselves from everybody else and like being the loner that just hangs out and plays video games and doesn't want to associate because they're afraid that they're going to be ridiculed for
Right,
it.
exactly.
My whole life. I mean,
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
I was a jock throughout high school, and I literally was. I wanted to express myself in some sort of fashion with those things, but I never did, because I didn't want to be looked frowned upon with the guys that I hang out
Right.
with on
Yeah.
a usual basis.
Yeah.
That would call me or make fun of me and just say, this is not you, or this is not cool. You
Yeah.
know, you come out, hang out, drink with us. I was a good boy in high school, aka, but just saying.
But I agree with that though,
Yeah.
because my experience in high school was vastly different. I was kind of all over the place. So like, I did play football. I was in there with I was in the locker room. I was lifting weights and doing all those things. At the same time, I also did robotics. So it's like, I would hang out with people from 2:30 to 5:30, 6 o'clock, take a shower, and we would go. I'd go up to the robotics lab, write code for 2 to 3 hours, and spend my time with vastly different people than the people down in the weight room or out on the practice field. And so, having that experience and seeing like, hey, these people are just really nerdy about lifting their weights, and then going up and then programming, which is again, a traditionally nerdy thing. It was a very, eye-opening experience for me. And, I've, like you said, it's hard to express yourself when, I can't hang around football people and say, hey, why don't, you're kind of interested in coding. We have a whole club that literally, that's all we do. Why don't you come check that out? It's like, oh no, those are the nerdy guys. And then, flip side, hey, I'm, maybe 100 pounds sopping wet, but I can code, circles around people. It's like, I'd like to, get into weightlifting. but I don't want to show up to the weight room with
Get made fun of for being so
300 and
small.
15-pound ripped defensive linemen in high
Yeah.
school and go, hey, I'm here to lift weights, and they're starting at a 10-15 pound. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has to start somewhere, and it's just a vastly different culture, I think, nowadays, that
Oh,
we
yeah.
can jump between the two.
'Cause I kind of have the same experience with you. Like I played basketball, and I
Okay.
was the only metalhead, and I was the only one that was into like playing. Like they played video games, but it was like NBA
Yeah,
games,
it's all the
Yeah,
sports
sports
games.
sports
Madden,
games. Like
yeah.
but like I played,
Competitive.
but like we played.
Competitive, yeah.
Like I would go to basketball in the winter, practice for 2 hours with these guys that are like in the, like nothing against. I'm not trying to brag on different types of music, but like I was a metalhead. I had nobody to talk to about that because that was something I was passionate about. Because I was also playing in a metal
Except-
band with Jeremy.
Yeah,
at the
except
time.
for freshman year and senior year.
Yeah,
That's the only
two times that he decided
'Cause I
he
was
wanted
on
to
the
come play
team.
basketball. So like I was by myself in that aspect, but then I was also like I was in the Ninja Turtles. I was into playing like Halo and Assassin's Creed and all this and all these guys would talk about after basketball. Like, yeah, we're gonna go over to his house. We're gonna party and drink. I'm like, that's cool. I'm going to my buddy's house. We're gonna play video games and drink Mountain Dew all night.
Yep.
All
So
night.
it's like
all night.
so like that. So like I get that. It's like it's
I
kind
miss
of
those.
different.
Dude,
I miss
then,
those
uh,
Mountain Dew nights.
I do too.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't do it now.
Well,
now we got
now,
beer
yeah,
nights.
but I'm just saying I miss
Oh,
those.
yeah,
in the
yeah.
Back then it was
past.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Freaking 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning,
yeah.
maybe 6. Once the sun comes up, you're sitting there playing Bond or Halo or whatever.
I skipped
man.
so much
Dude.
college classes because of
No,
that.
no, I'm even talking pre-college.
Yeah.
Like high
Oh,
school. Like,
yeah.
dude. I was ripping Guitar Hero Aerosmith, dude, like so hardcore.
I
Literally.
couldn't at the time when Halo 3 came out. I couldn't for some. I don't know if I just didn't have the money or if my parents wouldn't buy it for me. I couldn't buy it, but I went and rented it for like a week or two.
I
and
remember that.
I was staying at Kenny's house that time, and I beat the whole game.
In a week.
Literally, I was like, I'm just gonna rent it, and I'm gonna beat it, and then I'm gonna return it, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't buy it,
And that's
so
not-
I'm gonna do that.
And,
Hashtag rip Blockbuster.
Right?
Yeah.
yeah.
All
And
you
that just-
youngins out there don't know what Blockbuster is, but
What's
Right.
Blockbuster? Unless you like Stranger Things, they might know what a Blockbuster is.
that's
Yeah.
true.
You know?
Yeah,
They're like,
true.
oh, what's that?
But did they ever walk into the Blockbuster?
Yeah, at the
Did
end,
they?
because remember
Okay.
they were interviewing for a job, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
When it first,
There's
It's
probably
like, he
it's,
started
uh,
asking him.
I thought that was like a. I thought that wasn't a Blockbuster.
It was a movie rental place.
That's right.
Okay,
Block-
maybe
the
you're right.
best
Okay.
Sorry,
the best
I need to do my
copyright.
research.
no, the best
Don't sue us.
the best way to talk about seeing a blockbuster in a movie or show would be the beginning of Captain Marvel, where
Yes.
she crash lands
Right.
back on
That's
Earth.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
That
Because
was a
that's
good
where there's
call,
it's
a legit
legitimately a
blockbuster.
blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like she crashes into the movies are everywhere, and she's just like, "The hell?"
Where am I?
Yeah.
And then she goes and kicks the crap out of some old lady.
On Subway
That
bus.
wasn't an old
Right.
lady.
Tram, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
But,
But-
yeah, the like nerd thing. I mean, it's definitely. I think that like for being a nerd, like if you're thinking of like what we would traditionally call a nerd, I think in the modern day, we're in a much better state because I think on the whole, most people are pretty open and accepting of, hey,
Yeah.
you're really into board games, cool. What can you teach me about it? Oh, hey, you're really into this thing. Why don't you teach me about it? There's a much more of a learning community out there now versus like, these are my friends, these are what we do, and we're going to identify in this group. And if you want to hang out with us, you have to do these things.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
It's
It's
very
not
much more open. Where
Arms
like if you
open,
want
right?
to
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
want to come learn, we'll teach.
Yeah.
And that's happened really, really fast in like just the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And and as dumb as it is to say it, but like it's it goes back to the MCU. Like I didn't care for I wasn't as open, and then as soon as the MCU came out, it was cool to be into superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then from there, it
blew up.
stemmed into like,
It blew up.
hey, these are comic book characters. Let me go see what the comics are. And then like you go into comic shop, like there's board games.
Yeah.
What's going on with this? Like
Yeah.
you talk to people in the shops, and they're like, yeah, we have tutorials on Tuesday nights or something. Like we play this board game, or we do D&D, where we teach. You want to learn? Come learn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like so, it's very quickly in the last like 10 to 12 years, like blown up to where like
Yeah.
if you want to be a nerd, a stereotypical nerd, but still like your stuff from high school, like sports and stuff, that's cool. Like you don't have to peg hole yourself into one group.
Yeah. But do you think it's stereotypical now? Do you think it's a stereotype anymore?
Well, if you watch any movies and stuff, it kind of still is.
I think it depends on who you associate yourself with. I think that if you don't associate, like we all associate with each other, and I don't think any of us would. I don't think I'm a nerd. I mean, I'll come out and say it. I don't think I'm a nerd. I mean, I'm into like nerdy things, sure.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
But
Get off this podcast.
Yeah.
Get out of here. You were late anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I honestly think that I'm just passionate about different things than
Yeah.
other people, and I meet other people, and they go,
Right.
"Hey, I'm really into this thing." It's like, "Oh, that's cool." I wouldn't call you a nerd about it, but you're definitely just into those things that I'm
Right.
not into right now.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's more of a like an identifier anymore. I think it's more just here's where we stand.
Yeah.
Like this is what you're into, and that's cool. And you have to be open with everyone's likes and dislikes.
Right.
I can agree
For,
with
yeah,
that.
for people accepting each other for who they are, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like,
And I think that's what this world needs is just everybody with open arms accepting
Yeah.
who we are as a person, even if we have dislikes. It's
Yeah.
it's a great thing to socialize and be around people, because you don't want to be like by yourself, or you don't want to push people away just because you like something and they don't. There's a lot of I guess turmoil or stuff like that towards that. If you don't like what you like, I'm not going to hang out with you,
Right.
or do things with you. And that's not what, I want this to be about. I don't want, just because Brandon likes metalcore and Zach doesn't listen to it whatsoever, I don't want them to hate each other. That's not what that's not what that's about. Even though I don't know if he listens to metalcore or not, but
No, I mean I'm not super into it. I'm more into. I do listen to classical music. I listen to a lot of
Nothing
instrumental.
wrong with
Burn.
that.
you
I know
just
you-
got burned.
We're the one that used to play clarinet.
Hey, there you go. But no, for
Don't you start. We're literally being hypocrites right there, dude.
No, I make fun of him for that all the time.
I know.
Like, I mean, honestly, I can't play clarinet. So
I
I
know.
can't say nothing.
I play guitar. That's it.
So do I. There's actually
See-
a time where I wish I would have stuck with it musically and went to college for it, and maybe been in like an orchestra where I could be playing John Williams scores to the Star Wars films. Never would have gotten that big, but that would have been awesome, right?
Yeah.
I wish I could
fair.
Like,
Or
I'm gonna-
at the Cincinnati Pops Orchestra.
That's cool.
That does the movies, and they do
and they
all the
play it, yeah.
because they do it with
That's why I was thinking about it like
Yeah.
that, because I love
See.
music so much, like all kinds of music. Like I would have loved to have been able to do something.
So like, I'm still gonna make fun of him for playing the clarinet because it is what it
Pride
is.
in that.
Plus,
take it.
you gotta think.
All those nerds out there, take pride in your nerd
Yeah.
asses,
But at the same, it does just because I
Nerdism.
make fun of him doesn't mean that I don't wish that I could do it.
That's true too.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, we do have a couple definitions from my friend Webster. If you don't know him, check him out. He's at your local Barnes and Noble, probably a Walmart, something like that. But yeah, usually $13.95 most likely.
Damn, Webster's expensive.
Yeah,
also-
That's an expensive date.
But he likes to give you a lot of definitions. Let me tell you.
There's a website you can go to for free as well if you don't want to purchase a dictionary because it is
If you have
2019.
access to Wi-Fi or internet,
which is more than $13.99. So
That's true.
Yes. So Webster says the definition of nerd: a person who is socially awkward, unattractive, or not fashionable.
Sounds like Will.
as he wears that shirt with the stuff all over it and the toothpaste beard that says "Hi, Daddies."
It's not toothpaste. It's not toothpaste. First of all, rep GMM merch, Good Mythical Morning, Cotton Candy Randy.
Oh,
Checking
cotton
out-
okay,
yeah.
cotton candy.
It's cotton candy.
I don't
first
know.
off. Toothpaste. Are
I've
you
literally-
kidding me?
Literally, he's got a hairnet on. I assumed he was in the bathroom.
No, he wears a white t-shirt, very baggy sweatpants, and he has cotton candy, and he's Cotton Candy Randy. Look him up. Good Mythical Morning. Great YouTube show.
Was there any more to that definition?
Not a
Yeah.
sponsor.
To the definition.
Yes. So, back to it. A person who is socially awkward, unattractive, which is Will, right? Ha 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 ha. Or not fashionable, which is Will.
I think you're attractive.
Thanks, Jeremy. You and my mom are the only people.
Well,
A person who is extremely interested in technical or intellectual subjects.
See, this is where I disagree. Can I disagree?
Yeah.
Because like,
That's,
yeah,
I mean,
it's a stereotype. That is the stereotypical definition of what a nerd is from like 20 years ago.
yeah, exactly. It's like that's not what a nerd.
That's
is.
not-
We
yeah.
just talked about it. Like that's not.
Like he was saying, I'm with Zach. Like it's not what that is now.
Well, it's just like over time, things change. You know,
Right.
You got a definition that was in the 1950s. It's not going to be the same. It's the
But
2000.
but the thing is, it is. I mean, this is 2019's
People
Webster's.
Change. People change. People get
People
different
change.
views.
Yes. I mean, I think every single decade, nerd has changed. It started. I looked up. It started back in 1950s, early 1950s.
Jacks on the street.
I don't. Yeah,
Probably.
sure.
I mean, probably comics because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
the time that
Yeah.
like Superman and Batman and all that was getting big.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, obviously, like tabletop games weren't out
Yeah,
yet.
but first off, nerds aren't unattractive. Let's get that just straight.
That's fair.
Well, that's about all we got there, guys.
But
I mean, and then, so I found another definition too, dictionary.com's, but it's the same as the first part of Webster's, which we've already discussed that. But the second part is what I saw, and it's an intelligent but single-minded person obsessed with a non-social hobby or a pursuit.
Again, non-social. Here we sit,
Yeah.
four nerdy people discussing what being a nerd is all about.
yeah, so it's
So how do we? So we're not nerds then? Is that it? We're not allowed to be
Yeah.
nerds because we're socializing.
We have an all things nerd podcast, but we're not even nerds.
We're in trouble.
But it also says single-minded. Like we've established that all of us are into more than just one single thing. So even that definition, like in those two, the single-minded and the non-social, is not what it is now. Like, yeah, sure, 25, 30 years ago, sure, that's what it was because people were seen as outcasts because they didn't want to play football or basketball or they didn't want to just go to parties or something. But these are things that have changed over time, and I think with something as massive as Dictionary.com and Webster's Dictionary, stuff like this, it needs to roll with the times because that is not what it is now. Sure, it might have been when it was first published, but it's not now.
I wonder if we could change the definition ourselves. Maybe like all four of us can make the new definition. Maybe and Webster would accept it, or I don't know. I'm just saying that'd be awesome because this is like why we have this podcast.
I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't like start a movement or something to like. But at the same time, if we were to try to do that, who's to say like other stuff like people don't agree with, even if it is true, like we don't agree with it, and I strongly feel that it should change. That like the actual definition should change, but it's the four of us. I mean, obviously, there's maybe hundreds and thousands of other people that agree.
Hopefully, those hundreds and thousands will start listening.
There might be, there might be people out there that are just like us that love the things that we do, and they're going to look at, well, I'm not a nerd because of the definition. I am whatever you want to call yourself.
That's everybody. That's
Yeah.
everybody. Like if they look at it and they go, "No, that's not how I stereotype myself."
Yeah.
So, and then my other question with it is there a difference between geek and nerd? Is there? What do you think?
I thought always is going on is geek would be more of like the computer okay, sorry for those Best Buy workers out there, Geek Squad. Sorry, I guess I always thought those were kind of like the I guess in school terms maybe the geek kind of math whiz, book smart,
Sciencey.
whatever. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the educational side of what
the nerd side was more of a hobby or
like
whatever,
comics,
yeah,
or
something like
games.
that. Yeah,
I can agree with that. I mean, I definitely see that, but again, I think it's such a fine line. It's a very it's a tightrope to walk.
It's
Between
the same. It's the
being a
same
nerd or a geek.
community.
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
It's the same community. There shouldn't be any divide because there's a lot of sciencey stuff I'm into.
you can be a geek and a nerd. I mean, Will, huge math whiz. You're excellent at math, and you play all these board games because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You're-
That's a gray area.
yeah.
Yes.
They're interchangeable to a degree.
Right,
To a
because
degree.
and then the definitions, I didn't have it prepared, but the definition of geek is pretty much the same exact
Yeah.
thing as a nerd, excuse me. But in all honesty, you know, like that's why I ask, is it really different? Is it like, am I a board game geek? BoardGameGeek.com. Great place. But, you know, am I that a geek, or am I a board game nerd? You know, it's just, you know, is it because it rolls off the tongue better to call ourselves a nerd? Or,
Alliteration's a thing.
yeah, yeah. So, you know, or is it better for some people to call themselves a geek?
But
You know?
here's the thing, though. Can't we just move past like definitions? Like, why do we, as people who are interested in things, and just things in general, I'm talking board games, video games, music, it doesn't matter. Why do we have to have a stereotype, like a label for everyone that's into these things? Like, when we went to Gen Con, people weren't walking around with like, I identify as a nerd.
Yeah. Right.
I think it was just kind of understood, you know, like,
Yeah.
hey, we're all into these things, and I don't care if you are, you know, as into it as I am, or if you are 1,000 more levels deeper into it than I am.
Yeah.
That's the beauty about conventions.
Yeah.
Beauty about them, because you could go there as, you know, a fan of D&D, and then you could have another fan that comes of all he likes is comics for whatever reason, and they two would be able to get along because of
The shared love
Shared
for the
space.
community.
So
and
instead
just
of-
being there.
So instead of having that just at a convention, why don't we just have that everywhere? Like, what's the problem with having that? Like, I want to call it the Gen Con mindset because that's really the biggest convention I've been to. But really, any con, anyone you talk to who's been to Origin, some of the big ones, that's all they say is like it's just a place where everyone goes, and it's a safe space, and you just kind of, you know, act how you act, and you know, don't be rude. You got to follow. You know, there are guidelines. You know, you can't be a jerk or anything, but you know, you go, you just express what you're into, and then you go about it, and no one judges you for it.
I think that falls back into the social parameters that's instilled in you when you're young, with like you have to be popular, you have to be a jock and be what's considered cool. Like, even though it's something that's more accepted now, in the back of everybody's mind, it's like, I need to make sure people know I'm not into that. So I'm a nerd. I like this stuff, and it shouldn't be that way. And people that aren't into, like, say, board games or anything, like, even though they might be into like sports or like I said, make up the example of Jeremy's fiance, makeup, like stuff that's not your typical nerd stuff, they don't want people, they'll be like, I'm not a nerd. I don't associate me with that because I'm not that. I'm into other stuff that's more acceptable. And that's something that, even though it's more accepted, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's something that it's still a work in progress. Like, everybody can enjoy stuff however they want, but I think that's what it is
And to go along with that, I think being like, as you guys got to know me, I don't say like every single time I talk to a stranger that, hey, I'm a nerd. Hey, I'm a nerd. Or
I like board games.
yeah, I like board games. I like heavy Euros. I like to talk about those things. You know, I make friends. It's, you know, I meet totally different people that have totally different perspectives on life, but we can come together with one of the same, you know, hobbies that we have. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't have to call myself a nerd anymore about it. And I love that. I love how we can join together and through the same hobby and not have to be, you know, identified as a nerd. So
Right, and we're trying to build up this community with the Nerd Kingdom and stuff, and like, just thinking everyone's accepted for being their own nerd in their own way, and you know, that's kind of why we got along the lines of starting this podcast and starting this Facebook group, is, you know, the way we felt, and we wanted to include everyone else in this community to be expressive, talk about how you feel, and feel included. We want to include everyone. I don't care if you're
It
into
feels like they have a safe place they can go and
right.
introduce what they're
Exactly.
into without
It's-
feeling cut out, like they're not
Right.
part of the group.
Right. It's,
Yeah, and
They have friends.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we want to be your friends. I mean, that's why that group is up. We will talk, and if you want to private message us, if there's something that you're holding back and you don't know how to express it, feel free to
Yeah,
talk to
we're
any
here
one
for
of
that.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our email is always open to to hear you guys and hear your word on how you guys are feeling or what you're doing for for sharing or being that person to express yourself. I think it's so great. I think it's amazing, and I want that to keep going. I mean,
Yeah.
we've already talked about Cody. He's like, I'm going to try to share. I'm going to try.
Right.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I want that to keep happening. Not just him, like even us. I mean, we're going out there, and having a good time and meeting new people and discussing what we like and what they like, and maybe something happens where they go, let me get your information, let me
Yeah.
let's exchange, let me get your Facebook, let's talk.
And
That's
I,
yeah.
And I also think, being a part of the community too, one of the things, I don't think this needs to be said, but I think that we should talk about this, is that if someone does reach out to you too, you're not comfortable with it or anything like that, you need to you can message one of us in the community, in the Facebook group at least. Like, our names are associated with that. Like, those aren't special accounts. They're not,
Those are our
Right.
personal
Those are our
Facebook
personal-
accounts
yeah.
that we
Yeah.
are.
like, if you have any comments, concerns, like, we're getting it directly. Like, those aren't some, we're not putting up some wall
Right.
on
It's,
social
it's
media.
us. It's us.
That's
Directly
you
to
know,
us.
you can
guys.
see us, you can see pictures
Yeah.
of what we do, and our families and things like that. Like, it's all there. I mean, some things are private, of course, but if you add us,
Right.
9 times out of 10, if we see you're in the nerd community, in the nerd kingdom, we'll give you an ad. Like, we know what we're trying to build here, and we just want to be as open as possible.
Right.
I think that's fair, and I think that's a good way. Like we're talking about, when we want people to express themselves about what we want to do. I think this is a perfect time for us each to talk about
What we did.
what we've done in the past
Yeah.
couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's a part of that we think falls into what could be good content here,
Yeah.
and anything that we think other people would be interested in hearing about. I can go ahead and start. I mean, this past week, this past week and a half or so, it was Halloween happened. The night before, I went to a concert. It was a Ice Nine Kills Halloween show. The reason I say this is they're touring their latest album called The Silver Scream. Every song is based off of a different horror film. So
Nice.
during the show, the singer dressed up as that killer for every song. And
Wow.
all the members were dressed up as different villains, and the drummer was dressed up as the puppet from Saw. I think it was the bassist or the guitarist was dressed up as Edward Scissorhand. Another guitarist was Georgie from It. So they did all this different stuff. One of their girlfriends came out dressed as Carrie. The girl from The Exorcist was Drew Barrymore. Came dressed as Drew Barrymore from the Scream movie.
Nice.
It was more than just the music. It was a theatrical event with the music, and people from the Dent Schoolhouse were there dressed up, scaring people in between shows. They made the venue look like a haunted house. That goes back to the whole nerd isn't one thing. This is a horror based off of a horror films and whatnot. So you can be into the horror genre, and this falls into that. So that's why what I think is cool is I went to do something that I enjoy, which is a metal show, straight up just in your face, circle pits, everything. but it was more of a theatrical event where we brought in other stuff.
Right.
And that's something I did I think would be cool. So like if you're interested and you like metal or something, you think you might like the concept of the album, the album's called The Silver Scream. It's by Ice Nine Kills. They just released the final cut, which is basically the deluxe edition. I can also post a link to some of their videos and stuff, because all their music videos for the album are like plays on parodies of that film. So if you're interested, say something, shoot me a DM or something. Like, I'm more than happy to share that, because it's music. Music's universal, just like everything we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So whether you like metal or not, let's just grow this like that, and it doesn't matter what it is, just let me know.
I guess
Yeah,
I'll.
that's awesome.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Well, I'll say, I think I mentioned it earlier. We kind of started off with it, but BlizzCon was, I guess, last weekend, and I spent the majority of my time, watching the stream. I did purchase a virtual ticket. BlizzCon, for people that don't know, is a convention held by Blizzard Entertainment out in Anaheim, California. They showcase, what's coming in the next year or so, some of their video games and products that they make, things that are coming out. Just got a quick list here. Diablo 4, there's a cinematic trailer out. They didn't give us a release date. They just said soon. Blizzard's, standard, what they usually tell people. World of Warcraft does have an expansion coming out next year. Shadowlands, the cinematic trailer's up. You can also pre-order. There's different tiers. You can check it out on their website. Overwatch 2 was announced. It's been speculated it was coming out, but people didn't know for sure.
are they adding new characters, or is
They are adding new characters. There's a whole new engine that the game is going to be realized in, and excuse me, there's new heroes coming, and any heroes that you've previously purchased and own, skins, etc., will be ported into Overwatch 2.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
And there's
So
also
you didn't lose out on the money.
Right.
you didn't lose that on anything that you've already purchased. They said
Well, that's
they're just
awesome.
trying to update the engine, and they're adding a PvE mode, which is player versus environment, which
Okay.
is
Yeah.
they didn't really showcase a lot. They don't have a lot of gameplay yet, but they did show some of the artwork, and they have the trailer that's out as well. Other than that, there wasn't much else. Just standard panels, cosplay, etc., etc. If you're into it, definitely check it out. You can still purchase a virtual ticket and catch all the content up until I think like March of next year. So if you're interested, go and check it out.
That's awesome, because I'm excited for Diablo 4. I mean, I played Diablo 3. I know we talked a little bit
Yeah.
about it before, but you said you started at Diablo 2.
Diablo 2. So
Yeah.
where I got my start with the Diablo franchise in Sanctuary. But I did want to mention too, I know you guys have said you guys are into Hearthstone. There is another Hearthstone expansion coming out. They just had their Grandmasters tournament finished up at BlizzCon. The next set comes out in December. It's like early December, and you can pre-order it. And if you pre-order it, you get like the whole set now or something. I'm not super into it. I don't like buy every set that comes out. I just see ones that I'm interested in. So definitely check it out if it's something that you're like really into and you're into every season and you love to play. Definitely check that out, because it looks like they put a lot of time and love into Hearthstone this year.
Yeah. Speaking of playing, I mean, this whole weekend, I pretty much played board games. I mean, we did, my local gaming store did a drive for a local charity, or maybe local, might be national. I don't know for certain, but it's for Extra Life, and it is national. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, national organization, and we just literally gamed all day. I played a game called War Chest, published by AEG Games. Great game, 2-player game. So if you don't have a big board gaming group, definitely check that out, because it has a little bit of chess with it, but with a little bit more abilities with the certain units that you get to play with. It's an amazing game. I got to meet a lot of people. I think there was 8 or 9 in the tournament that I played, and I placed 4th. I mean, yeah, I'm not a winner, but but it was still amazing time. I got to play Parks, and I got to teach them. And I literally, my local gaming store sold 2 copies that day, because they go, man, this is an amazing game. And I love just sitting there and going and, presenting a game to somebody that's never played it, and to get to teach them that game is amazing. It just brings a smile on my face. I mean, some people I know like to cook, like to like to cook for other people, and just to see them like go, man, that is so good. It makes you feel good.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it
sure.
literally does. So I literally love teaching a board game, and people go, I love this board game. Thank you so much for showing me this board game. I swear, I want to work at conventions so much. So if any convention or any publisher
You'd be
hears
good at
this,
it.
I would
Yeah.
love to help demo games. I mean, seriously, it's like literally,
Like right up your alley.
yeah, literally right up my alley. So I mean, we played there. I mean, we donated. I think the game store, had the people that donated over like $300 or $400. So
Oh,
and,
that's really
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
and there was
It all went to Cincinnati Children's Hospital.
yes,
didn't it?
yeah.
Right.
For ours, it was
Yeah, for here.
like Cincinnati and Dayton Children's Hospital. So
nice.
yeah, and I mean, amazing work they do, and very nice people. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, I didn't really do a whole bunch nerd. But I mean, the only things I can really talk about, we just spoke of children's, and my job and what I do. I'm at Children's Hospital all day long, and because Halloween was just a few weeks ago, I got to see a lot of the kids kind of dressed up in their Halloween costumes, and definitely saw a ton of Marvel characters and all that. And the kids are always that's one thing is being in this kind of a world where I'm into the nerd stuff, so you can say is seeing all the kids dressed up as Marvel characters, they are the happiest kids I have ever seen.
Oh,
in
yeah.
my
It's
life.
probably cool too to see
These-
them like
yeah.
they're in these
Yeah.
awful situations.
Yeah, I
and,
mean,
like, they're
these-
just dressed up having a good time.
I'll be walking
being
down
children.
the hall. I'll walk down the hall, and this kid, and this happened last week, no kidding. I was walking down the hall, I was in A building, and this kid was walking down the hall, and he had a Captain America suit on. Like, he's probably, couldn't be any older than 5. Like, he had, the little,
The shield.
the shield and everything, but he was walking, his mom was walking him with the, what's that
IV?
called? The
The
IV,
stand,
yes.
yeah.
So he's walking down the hall, and, he looked at me, and he waved hi. I waved hi back at him, but he just seemed like the happiest kid ever. And it's like all these kids, I don't know what they're in there for, but they're just like,
They get to have a little bit
Yeah,
of sense of normalcy.
exactly. It's
and
awesome.
Something
And-
like dressing up as their
Yeah.
favorite superhero can do
right.
that for
It's
them.
that I think for me that's huge. And honestly, that's probably the biggest thing I've had all week is the biggest connection that you can say.
Speaking of, I didn't see anybody's costumes
Yeah.
on Nerd Kingdom.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah.
Not one.
I expressed my Bill and Ted, my
Hey.
crop top.
Me and Will are on there.
Yeah, that's
Bill and Ted.
Yeah, that's literally it, guys.
Yeah.
I need to see costumes. I don't care if it's November 10th, November 11th. If I don't see a costume
July
or
4th.
Because
cosplay on
hey,
Nerd Kingdom, I'm
it
gonna
doesn't
be
even necessarily
totally
have to be
upset.
Halloween.
Yeah,
No,
There's
you
the
can cosplay
conventions
it.
going on
Oh,
the
yeah.
rest of the year. If you
Yeah.
see cosplays, if it's yours or something you saw,
yeah.
let's see those cosplays. Let's see your costumes from Halloween. I don't care if it's something you think is quote unquote nerdy.
Yeah,
Post your costumes on there. Like
yeah.
it's fun. Let's see this. Let's be a community. Let's all be friends and see what. Let's see what kind of fun people had.
And if, like I said, if you don't know where to find us, you can always find us at, I don't know every single one. So if you want to
Facebook is obviously Nerd Kingdom
Yep.
is the group.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter is at ATNPcast. Instagram I think is also
Pretty sure it's the same
it's,
thing.
it's at ATMPcast or at ATMP, one or the other.
YouTube.
What else are we on? YouTube. We're on YouTube. It's I think it's All Things Nerd Podcast is the name, but it also has ATMP on there.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's probably
It's got both. So,
youtube.com/ATMP.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the link for the YouTube's pretty easy to find on
and
our,
the
in
and
Nerd
the
Kingdom.
yeah,
so like
and the picture is the same thing as our
Yeah.
Facebook.
yeah,
you'll
so
you'll
just,
see it. You'll
but
know
yeah,
what
any
it
of
is.
those.
email.
Yeah, our email was at atmpcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
And then you can find all of our episodes on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Podcast Addict. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I just got one thing to say. Like, you know, you'll hear it, but I want to say it one more time because I really think everybody should know. Like, anything, any issue about expressing yourself, any issue, even if you just want to come and, you want to learn a board game or talk about a board game or talk about anything with us, feel free.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
We are open arms. We want to hear you. We want to see, because you never know. Next time we may talk about it on this podcast on a later episode.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we'll keep it private if you want to keep it private.
Yeah.
But just remember, as we're here for us, we're here for you. We love it. This is why we're doing it, and we're excited about the future.
Yeah, please feel free to email us, atmpcast@gmail.com. Don't be afraid to, if you want to just message us and talk to us, by all means do it. And also another thing we were thinking about doing is, if you guys want to have your story heard, like, say you're
What'd you do
into
this week?
Lord of the Rings, say you're into Harry Potter, say you're into Ninja Turtles, whatever you're into, did you become a quote unquote nerd at 5 years old, 10 years old?
Is it new?
Is it, just now? What are you into? Give us your story. We want to hear it. If you want us to read your story on the
Or
podcast,
if you want to send us like a short clip of you where you recorded yourself.
right. We are more than happy to do that for you guys. It's totally up to you. Or if you want to keep it private and just have us talk to you one-on-one, we're okay with that too.
'Cause even though we're the ones that are on here, we want this to be a podcast for everybody.
Yeah.
So we want everybody to feel involved. So like if you got something you want to share with us that you want to be shared with, you want us to share with the world, or even just talk to us to get more comfortable in your own skin, in your own likes and dislikes.
Mhm.
Shoot it our way. We're more than
Yeah.
happy to.
We want to hear
put
it.
on here.
We want to hear you guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's it, right?
I
Until
guess
next
That's it.
time.
Until
next
episode
time.
2.
Nerd out, guys.
Nerd
See you
out.
guys later.